There's a certain quiet that fills the kitchen in the early morning, the sound of the kettle, the light through the window, the familiar rhythm of breakfast being prepared. For many, that breakfast begins with eggs, soft-boiled, scrambled, fried in olive oil, maybe with a touch of salt. Simple, familiar, comforting. Yet behind this small ritual lies something most of us never stop to think about, that even the healthiest food can lose its power if the body that receives it isn't prepared, or if our habits right after eating cancel what nature so carefully designed. Eggs are among the most complete foods known to us. Their protein is easily absorbed, their choline feeds the brain, and their vitamins protect muscles and memory. They are a symbol of life itself, compact, whole, full of potential. And for older adults, they are often recommended as a cornerstone of nutrition. But the truth is, eggs alone don't guarantee strength or clarity. What happens in the minutes and hours after eating them determines whether that nourishment becomes energy or stagnation. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, the Japanese physician who lived past 100, used to say that true health isn't built in the doctor's office or even in the kitchen. It's built in the spaces between, in the way we move, rest, breathe, and care for ourselves after the meal ends. How you live around what you eat, he said, is as important as what you eat. That sentence carries more wisdom than many prescriptions. Modern science agrees. Dr. Andrew Weil often speaks of nutrient synergy and rhythm, the idea that food interacts with our biological timing, our stress levels, and even the way we sit or move after eating. It's not the egg that harms or heals us, but the context we create around it. A small nap in the wrong moment, a slice of processed bread, a glass of water we forget to drink. These ordinary choices slowly shape how our body ages. Today, we'll look closely at 5 habits many seniors practice without noticing. Habits that silently drain energy, slow digestion, or increase inflammation. Not through malice, but through routine. The kind of routine that comforts us, but sometimes betrays us. And yet, within each of these mistakes lies a door to renewal. Because the body, even at 70 or 80, responds to kindness. It still listens when we begin to care differently. This isn't a video about fear or restriction, it's a reminder of possibility. Because eggs, humble as they seem, can be a true ally in aging well, if we understand how to respect their rhythm. By the end of this journey, you'll see that what truly nourishes us isn't just what's on the plate, but the choices we make once the plate is empty. So before we start, take a moment. Remember your last breakfast, the texture, the warmth, the quiet, after swallowing that first bite. Then ask yourself, what happens next? Do you sit back, lie down, forget the glass of water, or repeat the same meal every day? These small details tell the story of how your body is aging. In the next part, we'll begin with the first of these 5 habits, one that seems harmless but over time quietly weakens muscles and digestion. It happens right after breakfast, in the calm that follows. It's the habit of lying down too soon. There's a moment after eating when the body feels heavy, content, almost sleepy. It's tempting to rest, to recline for just a few minutes, especially as the years pass and energy seems to fade more quickly after meals. But that small act, repeated day after day, can quietly undo the very nourishment we worked so hard to provide. When we eat eggs, or any protein, the stomach begins a delicate process. It's like lighting a small fire inside. Enzymes and acids work together, breaking the food into amino acids, the building blocks that later become muscle, enzymes, hormones. If we lie down too soon, that inner fire cools. The acid pools in the stomach instead of mixing. Digestion slows. What should have become strength becomes residue. It's not pain we notice right away, but over time we feel it. The heaviness, the bloating, the quiet fatigue that creeps in after lunch. Science has confirmed what the elders of the past already knew. Researchers studying older adults found that remaining completely still after a protein-rich meal limits how well the body absorbs amino acids. Those same amino acids are what protect us from sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle that makes it harder to stand, walk, or climb stairs with ease. Muscles don't fade only because of age. They fade because the nutrients meant to feed them never truly arrive. In places like Ikaria and Okinawa, where people often live well beyond 90, the rhythm after meals is different. Elders don't rush to the sofa or bed. They get up slowly, stretch their legs, maybe water a plant or sweep the porch. 10 quiet minutes of movement, not exercise, just life continuing, is enough to keep the digestive system awake. In that gentle motion, the body tells the stomach, keep working, keep burning, keep transforming. And it does. This simple rhythm carries more wisdom than it seems, because digestion, like fire, needs air, it needs motion, it needs space. When we stop completely, we smother that process. When we move gently, we fan it. The difference is not in effort, but in attention. The elders of those long-lived cultures never saw eating and moving as separate things. They were parts of the same ritual, the body thanking the food it just received. There's a story of a man in his 70s from a small Italian village. Every morning after breakfast, he would put on his hat and walk slowly to the end of the road to collect the mail. It wasn't about the letters. Most days there were none. It was about rhythm. That daily act, repeated for decades, kept his joints flexible and his digestion steady. He often said that the secret wasn't walking far, but walking right after a meal, before the food had time to make him still. Digestion is like a fire. It can give life, or it can fade into smoke. The body after 60 no longer asks for intense effort. It asks for consistency, for a gentle spark that keeps the internal flame alive. When we rest too soon, that flame dies out before the food has finished transforming. When we stay softly in motion, we give it oxygen. And in that small difference lies the strength of our muscles, the clarity of our mind, and the quiet sense of vitality that makes aging lighter. In the next chapter, we'll explore another hidden trap, one that often hides behind comfort and tradition, the pairing of eggs with processed bread. It's a habit that has become so normal we rarely question it, yet it can turn a healing meal into an energy drain. There's something deeply comforting about the smell of toast in the morning. For many, that golden slice beside the eggs has been part of breakfast for a lifetime. It's familiar, warm and simple, a ritual passed from one generation to the next. Yet sometimes, even the rituals we love most can quietly work against us. The soft yolk, rich with nutrients, and the crisp toast, fragrant with butter, may seem like the perfect pair. But when they meet inside the body, the story changes. Eggs are one of nature's richest sources of choline and zinc, nutrients that feed the brain, protect the liver, and keep the muscles firm. They give energy that lasts. But when paired with white bread or commercial toast, those benefits often fade before they can reach their full potential. Refined flour, stripped of its fiber and minerals, quickly raises blood sugar. The insulin spike that follows interrupts how the body absorbs nutrients. What should be a slow, nourishing release of energy turns into a sudden rise and fall, leaving behind fatigue and the quiet fog that many assume is just age. It isn't. It's chemistry meeting habit. That bread, soft and white, may please the tongue, but dulls the work of digestion. Without fiber or natural oils to slow the process, the nutrients in the egg, the very elements that could support memory and protect the heart, are lost in the rush. The meal ends, but the body feels as if it hasn't truly eaten. In Sardinia, where many live past 90 with clarity and strength, the breakfast plate looks different. There, eggs might be served with leafy greens or a spoonful of olive oil. In Okinawa, with fermented grains or sea vegetables. They understand something we have forgotten, that the body doesn't only need protein or calories, but the harmony between foods. Fiber, healthy fats, and natural acidity help escort nutrients into the bloodstream, allowing each element to play its part. It's not about luxury or complexity, it's about balance. Imagine 2 meals side by side. One, the familiar Western breakfast, eggs with toast, coffee, perhaps jam. The other, simpler, eggs with spinach and avocado, or with a bit of rye fermented overnight. The first feels light at first bite, but brings drowsiness an hour later. The second sustains energy through the morning, the mind clear, the belly calm. Both meals carry the same calories, yet the body receives them as opposites. What this tells us is that health isn't only found in what we add to the plate, but in what we pair it with. The food may be gold, but the plate determines its power. The bread that once symbolized comfort can quietly become an obstacle, not because it is evil, but because it no longer resembles the bread of our grandparents, bread once alive with grains, fibers, and slow fermentation. When elders from long-lived cultures eat, they often pause not to count calories but to sense balance. Is there color, texture, variety? These small details create synergy inside the body, the invisible cooperation between nutrients. Over time, this quiet awareness builds resilience, digestion, and steadiness. The lesson here is not about guilt or restriction. It's about rediscovering the wisdom in simplicity, to honor food not as a quick fix, but as a quiet partnership with the body. A warm egg deserves companions that lift it, not ones that steal its strength. And when we return to this kind of care, the slow, attentive kind, even the most ordinary breakfast becomes a form of healing. In the next chapter, we will explore something most people overlook entirely. Not what we eat, but what we forget to drink. The story of hydration after a meal, and how a single cup of water can decide whether nourishment flows or lingers. There is a quiet moment after breakfast when the plate is empty, the warmth of food still lingers, and the body begins its invisible work. Most of us finish the meal, push the cup aside, and move on with the day. Yet what happens in those next minutes often decides whether digestion will be smooth or stagnant. Among all the small habits that shape aging, hydration is one of the most underestimated, especially after a meal rich in protein like eggs. When protein enters the body, it doesn't simply vanish into energy. The liver and kidneys begin their task, breaking down amino acids and filtering nitrogen byproducts. It is a beautiful, complex process, but one that depends on water. Without enough fluid, these organs must work harder to keep the bloodstream clean. The result is often silent, mild fatigue, heaviness, slow digestion, or even stiffness that feels like just getting older. In truth, the body is asking for flow. Many people avoid drinking water after eating because they believe it will dilute digestion. But what actually happens is the opposite. Just as rivers need water to carry nutrients to their banks, the body needs hydration to carry nutrients where they belong. Without that gentle movement, digestion becomes thick, slow, and incomplete. The stomach may finish its work, but the body cannot finish its journey. In Japan and in traditional Ayurvedic practice, this balance between nourishment and hydration has always been part of the ritual. A small cup of warm tea after a meal is not an indulgence. It's a sign of respect for the body. In Okinawa, barley tea often follows breakfast, its warmth signaling to the stomach that the meal is ending and absorption is beginning. In India, a sip of warm water with lemon or spices cleanses the palate and awakens metabolism. These customs are not accidental. They were shaped by observation, by the quiet science of centuries. For older adults, hydration is more than comfort. It's a form of circulation. It helps prevent constipation, supports kidney function, and keeps the brain alert. The cells themselves depend on water to receive nutrients and release toxins. Yet the thirst signal weakens with age, tricking many into believing they don't need as much. The body still needs it, perhaps even more, but it speaks more softly now, waiting for attention. Think of hydration as the bridge between what you eat and what your body becomes. The egg, rich in protein and choline, begins the process. The water completes it. Without that bridge, nutrients remain stranded. A meal half transformed, a body half nourished. The difference between stiffness and ease, between fog and clarity, can sometimes be as simple as that small cup of warmth after eating. Imagine a morning in which you finish your eggs and sit by the window with a warm cup of water or tea. Outside, the light moves across the trees, and inside the body begins to move too, quietly, steadily, gratefully. It's not about ritual or rule, but about listening. Hydration doesn't demand much, only presence, only care. And in that act of care, digestion flows, fatigue fades, and the body remembers balance once again. In the next chapter, we'll reflect on another habit that seems harmless, but carries long-term consequences, eating the same food day after day. Because even the healthiest meal, repeated too often, can turn from medicine into monotony. There is comfort in repetition. The same breakfast, the same plate, the same 2 eggs each morning. Simple, dependable, familiar. Yet what feels like stability can quietly tire the body. The digestive system, like the soil, needs diversity to stay fertile. When it receives the same protein every day, it begins to lose its flexibility. Nutrients are no longer absorbed as well, and the gut, instead of being alive with movement, slows and stiffens. Eggs are nourishing, but the body thrives on rotation. Each type of food carries its own combination of fibers, minerals, and amino acids that feed the balance of bacteria in the intestine. When the same food repeats too often, that balance fades. Digestion becomes slower, the belly heavier, and energy dulls. It's not that the eggs are harmful, it's that the body, like the mind, weakens in monotony. In places where people age with grace, such as Okinawa or Sardinia, meals change with the seasons. One morning eggs, the next day lentils or fish, later a bowl of yogurt or beans. This natural rhythm keeps digestion light and the body alert. It doesn't demand effort, only awareness, a quiet respect for variety. A woman once said her stomach had fallen asleep from routine and finally woke up after she began alternating her breakfast. That small change brought back her energy and lightness. The body, too, responds to renewal. Even the best melody loses its beauty when played without pause. The same happens inside us. When we offer gentle variety, the body responds with gratitude, digesting better, moving easier, feeling more alive. Health, in the end, isn't built from one perfect food, but from the quiet harmony between nourishment and rhythm. The egg has always carried the meaning of life, simple, complete, full of quiet strength. Yet its true power doesn't lie in its shell, but in what happens after we eat it. The habits that follow each meal decide whether it becomes nourishment or burden. For many older adults, the issue is not the egg itself, but what surrounds it. Resting too soon, pairing it with processed bread, forgetting hydration, or eating it day after day without variation. Small details, repeated over time, quietly shape how the body ages. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara once said that lasting health is built in the rhythm of everyday life, not in rare changes or miracles. Dr. Andrew Weil reminds us that how we eat matters as much as what we eat. These ideas bring us back to simplicity. The body doesn't need perfection, it needs balance, consistency, and care. Even at 70 or 80, it listens when we offer small adjustments. A warm walk after a meal, a sip of tea, a bit of variety on the plate. These gestures seem small, yet they awaken the body's natural intelligence. Muscles stay stronger, digestion steadier, and energy returns more easily. With time, these habits do what no pill can do. They restore trust between the body and the person who lives inside it. Health isn't built in grand moments, but in the quiet repetition of wise choices. Feeling younger doesn't mean turning back the clock. It means letting the body work as it was meant to. The egg remains a gift, but only when treated as part of a larger harmony: movement, hydration, rest, and awareness. The food is the beginning. The care that follows is what transforms it into life.